I sincerely hope so. So, that's yours. Don't miss them. So Tara dropped the food off already?
No, Jerry.
Oh, she just set it up?
Yeah.
Got it, that's cool. So,
We were kicking around the idea of where to do the sunrise at.
yeah, since you got a little bit of wetness going on. Yeah, I mean,
It looks like about 40-degree weather.
yeah, don't give people pneumonia.
Right, so yeah. John kicked out the idea of doing it in the lobby. I was thinking maybe in the library.
Yeah.
Seems like the sun comes in there, but it's
Don't go in the
back out of
library.
the way. You know?
Yeah, and that's dark.
Yeah.
I
So I was thinking if we did it in the lobby, you know, I mean, we originally were just gonna do it right out here. The lobby, you're just on the other side of the glass.
yeah.
And then maybe at around sunrise time, everybody got up, and put on their coats and just kind of maybe stepped outside for 5
like
minutes
that.
or so. But it would be more, I think the biggest thing there would be what else are we gonna have set up in the lobby
That'll give them away
that would be in the
Um,
way or.
at 7 a.m.
It's not gonna be that much.
Well, we're
Well,
gonna
Glenn
set up,
would know.
We're gonna set up today, so I didn't know
Right.
if we're like, if they were gonna do like tables down the middle with snacks and all that kind of stuff like they've done
Yeah,
in the past, but,
good question.
you know, we were just talking, maybe just using the couches and chairs that are out there and just kind of letting it be more of a comfortable.
And more of a family room kind of.
I'm a big fan of that.
I mean, let's just do that, Bobby.
Yeah, so,
Because I was trying to think, okay, well, that would be set up for breakfast and all this kind of stuff, so the activity center wasn't a good choice because of all the noise and all that kind of stuff, so I was trying to think of another spot to put it.
no, it would be noisy and there's gonna be people coming in and out
And we
potentially.
can move we got the 2 couches that are in the youth room right now too, we can move those out and set those up, maybe down at the other end where the, you know, the tree painting is.
Yeah,
Set that end up with some couches and,
Well, that
you know,
would be
make a little bit of a living room kind of feel.
We just didn't know what it was gonna do with the photo booth, it looks like we're setting up right down there.
Well, I think where the photo booth is, there would still be room on that end, on the opposite from where the photo booth is, I think. But I mean, we can look at it, like I said, we can move those couches out.
Tables of food too, a lot of people were sitting on the couches and last week the first extra bed.
So yeah, I mean, it probably would be a good idea for us to pull
Work.
those couches out anyway, just to give extra seating, like we were saying. you know.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for a
Yeah.
bunch of people to be here, I mean, you know, it's just gonna be a little intimate thing, but. Yeah, let's do that. Put it down by the tree. That should work.
We could have, I don't know if it would be a help or a hindrance, but we could also put on some like low background worship music playing in the lobby maybe too during the thing, you know, maybe just try to have the volume set at a really comfortable level that you can still talk and everything else and it's not blowing you out, but
That sounds good to me.
have a little bit of a background.
It's not like I need much.
no, that's true. Yeah, I mean, especially if we set it up today.
Oh. It's almost got closed out.
Plan again.
Again.
Yeah, so as long as we configure it today and the right people are here, we'll figure it out. I'm actually incredibly good with that.
If you sit right there, I'll block you.
Okay,
They have like bags and stuff, you could like,
just wear a bag.
just
over
wear a
my head.
bag. It's like that one's Andy, we'll write her name on the bag.
You can go sit over there with them.
Oh my goodness, yes, the Sozo bags, right? We found a use for the bags now.
Angie, put a little chair over there.
That's funny.
I like these chairs.
Alright, so who's gonna pray? Who gonna pray? Mike.
Father, we thank you for today. We thank you for this season. We thank you for all that you've done for us. We thank you for each person here, their faithfulness throughout the years. We thank you for the success of last night. Father, we have so many things to be thankful for. We just can't list them all here. But we're just thankful that your Spirit is here and working within us. Guide us today as we finalize plans for tomorrow and for the future. Be with us, Father, in Jesus' name.
Amen, praise God. What do we got on the agenda besides Easter? We know we got Easter. Any high-level things we want to talk about? John and I had a really good conversation about some stuff that we're going to take offline and frame a little bit better about how we sort of engage judgment and mercy kind of stuff. That's the way I'll capture it. And I think it is something we got to talk about, but
I had a thought along those lines
Yeah.
that with this being Easter, 50 days from now is when the Holy Spirit came, if we get a little guest speaker or something, we talked about Michael one time, or some other,
Sure.
do around, kind of
What
keep
date
the
is
flow
that?
going. haven't
Well,
figured
I mean,
out
May
what it is.
26th was potentially the date we had on for a guest speaker. So is that your 50 days? When's the day? What is the actual day?
I haven't.
You don't
It
know?
would be in June, wouldn't it? This is only the
Yeah, I'm just,
20th, it'd be 10 days left in April.
yeah. Yeah, somebody can do the
26th,
math.
It'd only be 36, you'd have 2 weeks out in June.
Yeah, what's the
Which would
date?
be Father's Day-ish,
Um,
ish.
yeah, we don't typically do anything special on Father's Day, besides, just recognize them.
I mean, it doesn't have to be exactly 50 days, but I'm just saying, if we wanted to keep the theme going, that would be a thought.
This says Pentecost is Sunday, June 9th, 2019.
Got it. Good, thank you. So it's the week before. And we're gone anyway, so we don't care. So if you want to, and we have had people say Mike should come in at some point, and there is a short list of people who would have come in. I just more and more I think about it, let's also think about people that are here. I mean, we can have people come in, or there are other speakers here that can
Yeah, I
really do a
It
beautiful
was just
job.
a thought that I had last night, so I'm gonna just threw it on the table.
Yeah. Any thoughts? Any reaction to it? I'm not hard over or hard, plus or minus. I mean, it's an opportunity and it's cool and good. And that 9th is a date that we want to have somebody, either someone else, and clearly somebody else is gonna speak, so. Going
I
once?
feel like, well, I guess it would be a guest speaker anyway. I was gonna say, it feels like you'd want that to almost be a part of your series for that month versus it being like a one-off thing, but if it's a guest speaker anyway, it's gonna be a one-off thing anyway,
Yeah,
so.
it's gone, yeah.
um,
There's nothing you can do about that.
I mean, I like the idea. I think that it's good to recognize it, and it would just be a matter of what does it look like, and what's the service going to flow like?
Yeah, which we don't know
Is
yet.
it going to be something that we're going to try to really have a strong move of the Holy Spirit, or do we just want to do some teaching on it, or
Yeah, good question. Yeah, I don't know. So we can keep, let's take that cake and bake it all the way. So I don't think anybody's against it.
It's just
Huh?
an idea.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea. It's just one of those things. It's like get a couple people to sort of noodle it, to your point, and just say, okay, what can this be? And we'll also think about, because May's going to be and the message series is and I haven't really thought about what June is yet.
And
Yeah.
Like A and G?
Yeah. Or like ampersand. And
Why
yeah.
are you laughing at me? You don't help me with my self-esteem by you laughing at me in
Oh,
public.
boom. That was a good comeback, though. I got to give you credit for creativity on that one. So yes, it's about and it's about the. Actually, it touches on a little bit of the judgment and mercy thing, because we polarize our, just like we do in our politics, we polarize our view of God, and it's like, well, he's grace. No, he's truth. It's like, no, he's grace and truth. And so it's this idea of bringing together opposing sides in how we view God. So that's what May is going to be. Now, does that roll into Holy Spirit? Maybe. Don't know.
yeah.
So at least you know what I'm thinking the month before, and so we could get together and sit down and sort of pray about it and figure out whether that would be a good fit. And yes, if somebody was going to talk strong about Holy Ghost, then that month is Holy Ghost.
Mm.
And maybe we do, and maybe it's multiple people. The creative juices can flow here. It could be 4 weeks of 4 different people talking about 4 different aspects of the Holy Spirit. That could work. And that kicks into the summer. Now remember, we've been going through and we've been doing Open Embrace Link for the first part of the year, and we said at some point people then get connected. So the other thing we can think about is, do people feel like they've had an opportunity to connect or not? So have we been reasonably successful at getting them to think now, let me get involved in the body of Christ, or is there something else we want to do? But we can work on that a little bit.
I feel like part of that is going to be just an ongoing, continual,
Mhm.
preaching that message in various ways to, you know, because I would think from what we've seen so far, no.
Okay, yeah.
I mean,
could
that
very
we
well be.
haven't, from what I've seen, I haven't seen that we've had anyone step up at this point to volunteer for anything. But I think that that's 50-50. Part of it is still on us because even I feel like during the Find Your Fit series, I don't feel like we were really clear or had a really good procedure to
Did it
clearly
very well.
communicate to people, here's how you want to sign up. You
Yeah.
know, we said we need help, but there wasn't really a good, clean, go do this, you know,
Mhm.
step 1, step 2, step 3 kind of a thing. And I know Logan is creating some volunteer service cards and
Yeah,
stuff
he
like
is.
that. That's going to help. And then, you know, we've talked about doing the gifting test. So we've got these tools in place that I think are going to help it. But, you know, I think that we haven't seen much movement in people really volunteering through these series. But I think that a big part of it is because we still have a
Yeah,
lot
we
of
don't
stuff
have
on
a
our backside. We
mechanism.
need to, some foundation stuff we still need to lay.
Gotcha. And I tend to agree with you. I mean, and I'm okay with that because as long as it's a theme we keep coming back to and people know that, then they'll get connected. And there are a few, but not big, to your point. And we certainly have to be realistic about who's there to join up that isn't joined up yet.
Right.
The other reality is a lot of people are engaged at some level, and so there's only so much more until you grow that you're going to get. So maybe the focus still should be getting people to invite and to grow and bring people in.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we're coming to.
Yeah.
And until we get a big enough group of those people, when we see, and actually we saw the same thing with pastors' breakfast. Either they don't like me, or the people are like, well, I feel like I'm pretty connected. I don't feel like I don't know you guys or can't talk to you. So, right? So it may be that we don't have that critical mass yet of new people, quote unquote new people, or people that are exploring it
Yeah.
to be able to do it. Any other thoughts? What do you think?
I think every church struggles with getting volunteers.
Agree.
So sometimes you just got to be creative, and sometimes you have to be kind of forceful. Say, hey, you, I need you on the team. Oh, okay. Sometimes that works too,
Yeah.
you know. Sometimes we have the tables out there. People always come by, okay, what's going on at the table?
Yeah.
You know. So sometimes that helps as well.
Okay.
You know. So.
Yeah, so it's a little of this, a little of that, and again, I am a big fan of themes that continually sort of get people sort of can think about it and gradually. The other thing is, I think the expectation is people have to think about it. It's like, well, pastor just challenged me to get involved. Where should I get involved? What do I really want to do? So your on ramp is important, but then sometimes this is just going to take time to think about it. So let's keep doing it. The only other thing I think may be missing is someone that's the volunteer person. Because I also think they need to identify people with things. Like Glenn has to be he's the volunteer guy. He's the guy everybody goes to see where they should volunteer. And so I know him, and then I can put the theme and him and my timing together. And I know where to go and who to talk to. Right now, I would probably say nobody knows who to go to.
Yeah. I feel like that person would also be that network person that we've been looking
Agreed.
for. Because they would kind of know all the different areas and the people and where
Yeah.
to connect people to. So that network person would also couple as the volunteer as they're meeting new people, kind of, hey, you know, we got this area over here that you'd probably love to help with, or
I think that's a great point.
they could even be the
Well,
ones.
sometimes
Some people
there's
don't
different people.
Some people don't
True.
want to tie themselves down to being a greeter at the door. They'll just say, oh, I'll help when I get there. That's kind of like what I do, because I'm all over the place, but I'm not committed into one particular thing. I just kind of float wherever I can go. A lot
Yeah.
of people don't want to commit, because well, I don't know if I'm going to be there every Sunday, or every second Sunday, or if I'll remember
Well,
every second
yeah,
Sunday.
that's true.
Yeah.
You know, and they just don't want to commit. And if I'm there, I'll be glad to do it, but if I'm not there, it's okay, somebody else will do it.
Yeah, and I think,
They just don't wanna commit.
yeah, that's definitely, I think that's the big thing that we're constantly fighting is
I don't
that
commit
people,
'cause I wanna go somewhere different every week.
yeah. And unfortunately, with a lot of the areas where we need volunteers, you know, we do need that commitment level because you
Yeah.
gotta be
Yeah.
That's
reliable,
why I don't
so,
commit, 'cause I'm.
yeah.
Yeah, but you
You'll
have.
take me all right.
There you
come-
go, Mike.
you come with an
Yeah, you
automatic-
man.
What did
You'll
he
see
say?
his number.
He said, I'll commit her.
Maybe that's the secret.
Maybe-
Someone gets to commit you.
That'll be good. Fix it.
Yeah, I mean, that one's a double-edged sword,
Yeah,
because
go fix his breakfast now.
Are you okay?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm fine, dude.
Okay, I'm just asking.
No, it's all good. Thank
Okay.
you. Are you good?
Oh, yeah.
okay, so he's gonna take us down a rabbit trail.
Yeah.
Oh,
You love rabbit trails, I
Oh.
have noticed that.
rabbits,
So,
just rabbits. I don't do the rabbits.
right, we used to have little hippity hoppity things. It's Easter, we could have had peeps,
Oh, can't do that.
peeps on pizza. So,
Can't do that.
yeah, right. Where were we? We were
Right,
trying
the rabbit
to
trail just got-
zero in, right, we're all on it now.
All right, so let me continue help. The front door, Ken and Sherry, they won't be here this coming Sunday.
God,
So I'm down 2 people.
so
But
how many people do we actually
But
have?
I will get Anna to help on the front door
Okay.
as well. Would you, Mike,
You just committed Anna to something? Shame on you.
I know.
or your lovely wife, would you want to volunteer for one day?
Well, I've got class, can I do it after?
Yeah.
class?
Yes, after class.
Do it to him.
Oh, Kim. Okay,
I'll
so
vote, I'll vote him in.
you vote him in?
Wow.
Did you just to help on the front door? Okay, all right. So I just made up for Ken
The
and
two?
Sherry.
So, but getting back to the point of the opportunity, there are some critical places, and I'd agree with how John's sort of taking us through those critical roles that have to be committed, right? And so we're gonna have that list of, no, you can't opportunistically doing this unless I have a core group that's always committed, and then I just add people to it. And I would actually challenge at that front door, I need committed people. That's where I was going.
Yeah, and
So,
and
and we build it. I'm not saying that, you know, it's horrible, but we build it over time for a core group of committed people.
but the front door are the core group that we have right now. So everybody's there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people right now. That's core.
Yep.
Yeah, but I guess in the cars as well, we need at least a couple more people for when someone's off or whatever the case may be. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So I'm summarizing, and I can be completely wrong, but. Series. And that's June, right? May or June? No, I got May, it's June. Then there was the issue of onboarding, right? The on-ramp for people. Um, else would you say is kids area, is the other one for me. I gotta have committed people there,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I think front door is one. Kids. We also said there was a,
There'd be the media team,
yeah,
which would include sound and cameras.
we'd probably be surprised how many things, it's one of those things where you're thinking, well, most of it's sort of like whatever you can do. And then you come into it and you're like, no.
Everybody needs to.
That's our weakness, is that we've always considered these, these optional, do it if you can kind of things. And it's like, oh, that's clearly hasn't worked. Any other big groups? And I think you're right, because I've watched you sort of pull that team together, and we've seen where handoffs, if we don't get handoffs and sound right, the thing just breaks down. So I think that's critical. Any other ones that are, those are probably the core ones, at least now.
Well, you probably need to get some teachers.
I agree with you.
I just don't know if that's something now to focus on.
I know.
A little bit down the road, but.
I sort of don't think so yet. And I did think about the question that we had about linked roles from last time. I think these are event leaders. And now spider webbing. These are organizers. For ministry. Right, these are community people. These are coaches, in my mind. I think we'll very easily see that it'll go from open has more entry level, I'll just call it entry level. Open has more entry level than an Embrace does, and it has more than Embrace does, and Embrace has more than Link does. These end up being fairly mature people that are helping us expand and grow the ministry. Now, the good news is when people start to see those, they'll say, oh, I thought Open was supposed to do that. No, it really is that teachers are in Embrace, I believe. That's where the big need is there. And then Linked, it's people that organize and lead big events. They're evangelists, right? I mean, there are people that are like, go out there and build something and work with other ministries.
And that flows with the whole purpose of Open, Embrace, Link. That's the whole thing. Open is that entry level spot where people are coming in, virtually, non-Christian, don't have a relationship, are kind of just seeking things. That's the whole point of the Open. And then the Embrace is where you connect with them, you start to build them up, and by the time you do get into the Link, the idea would be that they're committed, Christians. They look at Sozo as their church, not your church, and they are more mature, ready to go, ready to get out there and do work with us. So yeah, that flows right along with those three areas.
Yep. So you agree that, we still have enough to do here, not exclusively, but until we get people in the pipeline, I think the connection for me was, okay, you're probably not gonna get much more in volunteers with what you got. I'm willing to say the 80-20 rule, right? Because the people here are either largely involved or, they're not necessarily ready to, that's probably more.
Somebody involved.
And so you gotta get more people into the pipe in order to then effectively even use a pipeline. So you hate to always make everything about growth, but clearly it's about growth. It's about getting and touching, reaching, and bringing people into the mess.
I feel like the challenge with it, and we've kind of always, I think, had this challenge is the kind of the chicken or the egg scenario, where if you don't have the people, then you don't have the volunteer base, you don't have the pool of people to grab from. But at the same time, if you grow too fast with our current structure, then we can't handle the growth.
Yeah, true.
before we get the volunteer people in. So it's like, you know, you almost have to look at where we are currently and try to determine, okay, how much growth can we be able to consume with where we are currently?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
No, I
And
agree with that.
Before we would just swamp everything and then things start to really fall apart. Because even once we start to grow and we get those volunteers in, you've got a leg, right?
Mhm.
Because you don't want people coming in and being here for 2 weeks and then all of a sudden we're pulling them directly into volunteer positions because we don't even know who they are. And
Yeah.
you definitely don't want to do that with children's ministry because you can get
Oh,
yourself
absolutely.
in a world of hurt by doing that. So
Absolutely.
once you start to grow, you've got a few months worth of lag of trying to get to know these new people and get to know who they are before you start to really plug them into some of the volunteer positions.
Yep.
So I definitely agree, we have to grow in order to get the pool to be able to get the volunteers. But I just think that's something we gotta really keep an eye on as we're growing, is to try to figure out how can we grow comfortably without killing everything that we're currently doing in our current volunteers
Great.
within that transition time of starting to grow the volunteer base to help compensate.
Where are we with the sign-in stuff for the kids ministry? Because, I don't know if Tara talked to you, but we had a plan of basically that every parent's gonna have to participate.
To volunteer.
And if they don't wanna volunteer, if we tell them they have to volunteer and they don't wanna volunteer, like I don't want anything to do with kids, then that would almost kind of force them to volunteer somewhere to be involved.
Yep.
And that was something that and like gives you an option. You have options,
Yeah.
but you have to volunteer. And if you don't volunteer, we're gonna
Yeah.
put you on the list to come help in one of the classrooms.
Which makes
It doesn't have to
perfect
be with
sense.
your own kid, but you know,
It makes perfect sense to me,
Yeah.
and that should be a requirement. And
yeah.
So whether we develop it for the whole church in terms of the gift test, or we develop it just for kids ministry in terms of the list, I
Yeah.
think we need that.
Right.
There's no question about it. And yes, that's organic, that's people here. I
Right.
don't have to go out for that.
They're already
I just
here,
need to put
yeah.
them in play. That's a really
Yeah.
good point.
Is it volunteer for an activity, or do you have to volunteer for a kid's thing?
You have to be volunteering. If you're already serving somewhere, then we're not gonna ask you to come serve in children's ministry also.
Okay.
But
That
it just kind of,
special event or actual Sunday to
So
Sunday. That's what I was hearing from that.
I mean, it doesn't have to be every Sunday, but
I would-
basically you would go on a rotation to serve in kids ministry.
That's
If
what
you're like, no kids for me, then, you know, we'll
Find somewhere else.
encourage you to get plugged in somewhere else, yeah.
The original point for that particular thing was the fact of looking for volunteers for the children's ministry specifically, and pulling on the idea that if a parent has a kid that's regularly coming to the children's ministry, then there should be some level of expectation from that parent to say, you should contribute at least one Sunday a month,
What?
helping in the children's ministry.
Okay. Do they have to teach the children? They just have to be back there.
They just have to,
Right,
be
yeah.
connected, be a part of
Yeah.
it, see what's happening.
Yeah, okay.
And if it's
okay.
not, and you know,
The
be a helper
teacher-
one Sunday a month, and if you're like, I can't be with my own kid, I know that about myself, you know, would you be willing to go into another room? And then some people, they have kids, but we don't know where we could put them in there, so then we would encourage them, you need to get connected somewhere.
But the idea would be that rotation list would be, you're expected to at least one Sunday a month, at least come back and be an extra pair of hands helper. You know, if a kid has to go to the bathroom, you take them to the
Right.
bathroom, keep these two paying attention, you know, so that the teacher who
Okay.
is there can focus on what they're doing.
So do we have a list of the?
You know, that's where all the teachers that are
Well,
back
that's
there
what-
come from, is from volunteering because their kids were in it.
Yeah, but
So where it
do
gets
we
started.
have a list of the kids?
Yeah, here.
And
No, that's what the sign-in thing
And,
was gonna do. That's why she was
okay.
asking, we're gonna rely heavily on that new sign-in system. That's gonna tell us
Okay.
who the kids are, and then who the parents are, and who the regulars are, and then we can
Okay.
look at that list and say, okay, here's the batch of parents whose kids come on a fairly regular basis and they're not volunteering anywhere, so those are the ones that we're gonna start.
And then there'd be a master list, calendar basically of who's teaching on what Sundays and what classrooms, so that
What
everyone
does
can see it.
regular basis mean?
One Sunday a month is
No.
regular.
On a regular basis,
Oh.
as far as attendance goes?
Yeah.
At least 3 Sundays a month,
It's 3 Sundays.
yeah.
So, I mean, the big thing there is the team moving forward, correct?
Right,
I'm always concerned that we still don't have a leader there.
yeah,
We have a lot of servants and helpers, and that can be a little problematic until somebody's the lightning rod that says, no, we gotta get this done by this date, and we gotta push it.
yeah.
So, I don't know how to solve that, other than praying. So we'll keep praying for that team, because it really will become more and more important the longer it takes to move it.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. But yeah, I'm with you on the sign-ins, absolutely. Okay. So what else? Those are big. I mean, I do think there's a networking role in that volunteer area as people come in. And I do think that can be potentially a near-term thing. I don't have anybody in mind, but we should think about who could fill that and sort of help start to connect some of those dots. The next series we can take offline and start thinking about it. I'm good with making it Holy Spirit focused. Maybe that's the answer. But we should all pray about that and figure it out. And if the guest speaker, again, I think it can be somebody here. I don't think it has to be an outsider. So I want us to always think to ourselves, okay, well, who's got it? Who's got something to say? Why are you smiling?
Because I hit him.
Of course you did. I knew you would, but I mean, why not? Here's the ulterior motive that sometimes I have, that I was fulfilled yesterday. And it's this: if we speak to the people, they connect with us. One of the downsides of outsiders is they come for a minute and they're gone, and so I saw you and you smiled and you told some good jokes, but I'm not connected with you. So you gotta watch the mix, and I mean, that's why I'm always not super excited about them, because they come and go.
Yeah.
And even when Gary comes and those guys come, I'm like, well, come and spend a few days and connect with people. I don't want you to just be this person.
Right.
So the advantage of an insider, quote unquote, is now they're connecting to a pastor's heart, and they're hearing John, and they're getting to know his life, and they're watching his kids, and it's like that one has more synergy for me. Then I, as a pastor, say, okay, now I'm ministering more because this person is now getting connected to more people. Does that make sense? I think that's your heart when it comes to worship. You know, it's like, yeah, we can bring outside people in every so often, but that's not what we want, right? The ideal is we do it. We minister to people and they get connected to us. Is that fair? So let's think about it. The counter argument obviously is, well, you get some fresh blood and you should get some good excitement and somebody stirs some new things and maybe invite some new people. So
And
yeah,
if you don't have
I
anybody
get
to
that.
pick up the ball and run with it when you leave,
This becomes
it's just there.
So this is an and, right? It's not an either or. It's the right mix of it,
And like A and D.
like ampersand, right?
Okay, that's 2.
You're enjoying this. I mean, I'm gonna get some popcorn.
Okay.
What did I miss?
Get some popcorn.
Your mother.
Oh, gee whiz. Your mama, you were supposed to say.
One
You're supposed to say your
more.
mama.
You and me and the pastor in a room.
Yeah, there you go. Let's go now. All right, do
One
this.
other thing,
Go.
we're talking about things here, as I'm looking at this, have we set a time for our community outreach like we did last year?
No.
We might wanna start.
Good. I think it's a fair
I think
point.
it's something we
Actually,
start putting it
So is it
together.
Saturday?
I couldn't remember if we set a date or a time frame or not.
I thought it was innocent.
I thought that was all around June or something like that, is what I was thinking.
So is it Saturday?
Yeah, there's a Sozo
Yeah, it is. August 24th. It was at least tentative. So you're right, it's there.
Yes.
But
Someone needs to be in charge of making plans for it. I don't
August
know.
is gonna sneak up.
that's true. Very true. It's hard because
We've got to
What?
shop today and see if there's any other events going on that day.
that's true. So
Yeah,
I mean,
Shopping today.
I think before we get too heavy down that road, I mean, the reason why that hasn't been a focus up to this point is because we've had Easter, we've
Yeah,
got all these
stuff.
other big events.
right.
Once we get past Easter, then the
That's what I was
shift
gonna
will
say.
be,
I
okay,
understand,
now
I'm
what's
just
the
saying
big
that's
thing coming, so.
our next quote, big event that I can think of on our calendar that is an outreach.
Yes.
Thing, and if we're not careful, it's gonna be June, we're gonna say, okay, now what are we doing next week?
Yeah, no, that's why it's on the calendar. So it's, we're ahead of it this time. But yeah, we're gonna have to shift our focus at some point to that, no question. So we're making progress, we're putting things down, we're getting ahead of them a little bit, and we're looking at big issues. So some of these are gonna be elder topics. Others of these will be this core team topics, and we just gotta keep track of them. That's it. So those are the high level things. So what do we gotta get done? Short term besides Easter. Anything else, anything besides Easter that we gotta prep for?
I just gotta say, that was huge, what you shared last night, thinking about a year ago, we were watching videos and Jeff and T would come sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
And that was our worship.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, it's come a
Oh, it's
long
come a long
way.
way.
That
And
was
they-
huge for me.
Oh, and see, more voices, you hear more of God,
Yeah,
right? You get
Yeah.
different perspectives. There's no question that's a huge thing. And it did encourage people. I think people felt like, yeah, you're right.
yeah, you
We
kind of
were-
forget. You forget that, wow, we were watching videos and that was our praise and worship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know, so I already know there's a few people that we have to be careful with that on, because they saw that as, yeah, but we made it.
Mhm.
So just
Yeah.
keep that in your mind.
Yeah.
Because some people are like, yeah, but we were making it. We were doing
Right.
it. Because you know what? If there's one guy up there,
Yeah.
praise God, we're gonna do it.
Right.
But I'm with you. It shows the progress
Yeah.
more than
Be a
anything
good thing
else.
to add to the bottom of a bulletin. A year ago, we were just,
Yeah, I
you know,
wouldn't.
just to keep reflecting and keep in people's minds that a year ago we were here.
Yeah, I would say that.
We're growing.
I would say that. I
Now
wouldn't.
you'll see it 'cause it's in the bulletin.
Yeah, I wouldn't write it because then a lot of people won't see it, and I wouldn't want anybody to miss it.
Yeah.
And so it's usually put a face on it's better because it's like, no, I got it.
Are we keeping a list of the things that we accomplished this year?
To an extent. I mean, I have red booths, so
You're
I
gonna
already-
make one of
I
them
know
red
what a
things
commitments.
that grow? Those poster things you put in the
Yeah.
hall?
Oh, no.
Is that free?
No.
Yeah.
No.
You're gonna.
No, so just like at the
Die on a
end of the
pike.
year, that you send out a letter, and,
Yeah, I usually
and
keep
you
track.
know, so as long as you keep a track of, you know, there's a lot of positive things that we did.
Oh, yeah.
So it's important to kind of keep a
I
track of
agree.
that.
I agree with that.
Did we talk about family meal? So we're not going to do a family meal for Easter, obviously.
Yep.
When?
Good idea,
I'm sorry.
good idea.
What,
Since it's tomorrow, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, they
Yeah, let's
work.
plan
They
it right
work
now.
in 24-hour windows.
Oh, excuse me.
So when's the next
Huh?
family meal?
Well, you tell us.
Why don't we have one between Mother's Day and Father's Day and have a parent meeting?
Well, we can take the pastor's breakfast off, so that's April. Pastor's breakfast makeup was going to be on the 28th. I assume that's not true anymore.
No, I think we're okay with
I mean, it sounds like that's just we're just not getting people.
that. No.
Yeah. So we take that off.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, no. I mean, I don't see it as a bad thing.
Okay, excuse me.
Yeah. I'll worry about it later. So we'll take pastor's breakfast off.
You can't worry about it later, it's just
Frustrates me.
bugging you.
It does. Smudged and smeared the heck out of it.
You need a
So you got
tissue.
Easter. So a family meal wouldn't be appropriate until May anyway. You
Right.
got Mother's Day. You gonna do one on Mother's Day?
No, because I think that people, they want to take their mothers out.
Okay.
Usually do a cookout on Father's Day, but no.
What does that say on the 5th and on the 26th?
Corporate prayer.
And guest
And then
speaker.
guest speaker on the 26th. So, I mean, that's all up in the air. We can decide what we want to do. But we were trying to keep a frequency, right? We were
Mhm.
trying to, every 2 months or every 3 months, we would
Mhm.
do a family meal.
Mm-hmm.
So you tell me,
Mm-hmm.
what you gonna do? But there are a lot of, between now and June, there's just a lot of special days, right?
I think the 5th or the 19th would be maybe a decent time.
May, you said May 19th?
The
The
5th or
5th
the
or the
19th.
19th, it looks like both of those Sundays are open.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but not the 5th of May. Oh, yeah, oh, I read,
Too close to Easter.
The 5th of May, the only thing that's up there is just corporate prayer, which would be that evening.
Right.
But
And Mother's Day's on the 12th.
Yep.
And what about the 25th?
Saturday.
25th is
Oh.
Saturday.
Oh, I'm 26.
Guest
I'm sorry.
speaker.
Oh, that,
Theoretically, we haven't really put anybody in there yet. That was a placeholder.
good,
So
good.
we could kill that, and that could be a family meal. And we could hold the guest speaker for June,
Right.
either the 9th or well, you don't want to do it on Father's Day, I don't think. So
No.
it's either the 9th.
I would think if you, what's the 27th, is that Memorial Day or Labor Day or
Yes,
something?
Memorial Day.
So what people go out of town for?
Yeah, I would think that would.
3-day
The first
holiday.
pushback that you would hear is, that's a
Yeah.
holiday
Out of
weekend,
town.
nobody's gonna be here. So that's why I was thinking maybe the 19th, it looks like
Oh, okay.
nothing's going on there, and it looks
Well,
like it would be
Looks like there's a cleanup day though the
Free.
Saturday before. Will that be exhausting? No.
No.
So is it the 19th, tentatively?
Yeah. Because we can't go too long without a family meal.
Agree.
Make it earlier, maybe.
And then the guest speaker, the only reason that sat there is because somebody said somebody could come in and talk about a relevant Memorial Day thing. Whether some ex-military person that we know would come in and talk, and it would be thematic. It's still problematic because a lot of people here wouldn't be there, potentially. So we may just want to kill it for that.
Just do it early in May then.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
Earlier than Mother's Day.
we can kill it that week. Do we want to kill it that week? How many people want to
for
kill
the
it that
guest
week?
speaker.
Kill it.
Yeah,
Jeez.
What?
Can you come up with a nicer word than that?
You just wanna
Destroy
say
it.
I just repeated what you
Crucify
said.
I was thinking about removing,
Wow.
deleting.
Right after a Good Friday
Oh,
service.
that'll
like,
make your head
geez,
spin.
Too soon.
Crucify.
too soon.
I don't wanna go home with him.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Me either.
That boy needs help.
Yeah.
I'll
So let's
I don't have the
tentatively.
open, well, actually, yeah,
take the
I
deck.
have a bed for
here.
the weekend.
Yeah, just until you cool off. You wanna
Deck
put the
guitar,
guest
that's
speaker on
all
the
I
9th?
need.
Sure.
Wait, you're gone the next week?
We're
No,
going
they're
that
gone that week, the 9th.
Oh,
Where are you gonna be?
I don't know.
Going on a cruise?
No, we're going downtown Dayton.
Yep.
To the Bob Evans down
There you
My
go.
favorite
That's what
place.
I'm talking
there.
about.
That's it. You're not doing that.
After how many years, Bob
Yeah,
Evans?
you
did-
should pay me for 30 years.
What's different about that, Bob Evans and the rest
Nothing.
of it?
It's just where to go.
Yeah,
Come on, I'm having fun with it.
I was gonna make Mike
So the
take
guest
me
speaker's on the 9th. What's that?
there. I was gonna make Mike take me there.
Oh, there? No, don't. You won't be happy.
You got about 25 more years to wait. This is a special place.
So when's your next family meal? So you're gonna do one in May, you're gonna do one in July? July. Those usually
July.
quieter because now you're in the summer months, but it still might keep momentum going.
We can just do a cookout.
We could, yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
good with
yeah.
that.
It's a
we'll
family
cook out.
meal, you don't
Not-
have to have a
Right,
big meal.
yeah,
What date?
yeah, we gotta just work on that grill.
What date? The 4th is on a Thursday. So that weekend is probably 4th weekend.
What's on the 7th? Because I can't see.
Corporate prayer.
Oh, corporate, oh,
It's all right.
It's every first Sunday, in case you were wondering. Notice at the top of every.
Like
sorry.
every,
You know what?
like if you were observing.
That's great. Yeah, that's great. See, even you recognize it.
Harassment.
On.
Friendly harassment. All right, so July. You want to do something in July?
Yeah, that's fine.
Cookout, what date? 7th?
I'm flexible.
He's flexible.
Glenn said, right? Because Karen's gonna be like, what are you talking about? We're not doing that.
Well, we're doing it till Tara gets here. so
That's
that-
true. She'll say, no, it's not a good date. All right, 7th cookout. All right, is that good for your family meals?
Yes.
Enough advanced planning?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, what else we got? We got Easter, right?
You're gonna do a video announcement?
No, John, your husband ruined me on that.
Did he?
Yeah.
How's that?
So funny.
You know, why is it about your family?
Everyone loves
That everybody
video
hates me.
announcements with you.
About your family.
Nobody likes me.
What is that?
You at the park climbing on the equipment.
Yeah,
This
see,
is for you, John.
I got one person, one person that loves me,
What is that?
right here.
I've been the one
Thank
marking
you.
out the
Mark
days
it
so that we
off.
know, so that we know where we are on the calendar.
Absolutely.
Don't just look at it.
So it doesn't feel
He's
like,
very
oh, we got
OCD.
Tons of
Right.
kind meals.
So
Why just
is
get free food at the church?
Ashley's the
Like,
same way.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
there's
Gotta watch
there's
the
something in
jeans.
there for
Yeah.
you.
There's always somebody's gonna pick it up. What day is today?
it is the 20th.
Yeah.
Oh.
Look at that.
420.
oh my god.
Nothing like live streaming
Get out of here.
that joke
I know.
at
That's,
our church
Yeah.
meeting.
yeah, that'll play well.
Did you see people posting it's 420 and we got milk and cookies for Snoop Dogg?
That's cray cray.
If you don't know, if you don't know what that means, good.
It's like, you know, what was the one, the t-shirt that says, you know, God
She up there
rules,
with Snoop Dogg?
God saves, is
Yeah.
now, you know, like,
Yeah, Derek and Nancy have one.
which one was it? It was God?
What's it say? You know what it says.
God's plan.
God's plan.
Yeah.
Drake song.
I think we should execute rappers, right? We will crucify rappers who desecrate things. All right, so that's the calendar. What else we got for Easter? Anything else on your list? Anything prep-wise for tomorrow that we need to care about? We're all gonna just work and do what we gotta do, right? I think you and I are good on the flow, correct?
So it's gonna be Joanne's video,
Uh-huh.
teaching, your
Mom's video, close
and then
out.
We're gonna close out.
Last song.
We were going to, as far as a basic flow of the service piece itself, would be countdown, a video, welcome, worship,
Mhm.
and then after worship, I think you were gonna come up,
Yes. Transition.
transition, do offering,
Yep,
release for meet and greet,
correct.
and then that offering piece and meet and greet would be a time where you'd say, okay, if you have offering, bring it up while you're up, say hi to somebody, and then short time of meet and greet, and then you come back up and do just a quick thing, get everybody to sit back down, introduce the video, and then we're into the main teaching piece.
Yes.
So it seems like the flow is pretty straightforward for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we just talked about what the sunrise service is gonna be. We're gonna move that to the lobby versus outside because of the temperatures look like they're gonna be in the 40s. So we're gonna
Really?
move some of the couches.
Dang.
Well, yeah. It's gonna be in the lobby, so at a certain point, if, depending on what Mike feels.
Supposed to be warm tomorrow,
You
don't
can tell, man.
Well, at that time in the morning, it might warm up later in the day, but at 7 in the morning, it's gonna be like 40 degrees. But
Yeah.
But we talked about maybe moving some of the couches from the youth room, moving those 2 couches into the lobby too, just for some extra seating, and to try to set up something for the sunrise service. And then after Easter and in between that breakfast time and stuff, it just gives extra seating out there for people. So the sunrise and breakfast, and then Bible study as normal, and then fellowship and
Yep.
service. So I think the flow is pretty well. I think everybody's comfortable with that, and
Yep.
I think it's just a matter of we got some setup to do after today's meeting. But
Yep. I think that's it done.
And then who's doing the announcements, or is there an announcement?
well, that would be
That's me,
he's-
but.
yeah, we're not gonna
I'm
do
just
like
going.
actual announcement pieces.
Okay, so, the picture taking,
Yeah.
you just need to.
We gotta do that ahead of time somehow. So whether it's we send out a text tonight or, you know, we gotta let people know, maybe we do a one call that just says, hey, come early. Cause it'll be harder to do afterwards than before, so we actually wanna encourage people to
Okay.
know it's there and to come early to do it.
Okay,
Is that fair?
so then the front door people, I'll let the front door people
Yeah.
know when people are coming in there, if you like to take an
That's a
Easter
good
picture, just walk them down there.
It's a good thought.
So Logan can't be running around, because there'll be a lot of people going down there taking pictures.
Yeah, no, that's good. I like that. And I'll put some communication out to just try to remind everybody.
We can put something in the slide rotation too that we
That's good.
have running, just a little slide that says, hey,
Yeah, that would be good,
stop
yeah.
down and get your family photo taken. I don't know how many people actually pay much attention to those slides as they're going, but it's another form of communication.
But maybe someone can take a picture of somebody already with the bless you, the
Bless
thing
you.
down there already, and put that up there, so now people know what it is. So I think that'd be good.
Cool. All right, so we're good for tomorrow. Other than getting out there and just working on it. What else? What are we missing?
I have something, but it's not next week. I mean, it's not tomorrow.
Then we don't want to hear. What is it?
Miss Sarah?
Huh? She's not here.
Oh, she's not here.
Oh, you think you hear a rustling bag?
Yeah, okay.
Food suck, it assumes that
Food
I don't know if
bags for Sarah.
should I be offended by that?
No, you talk about her the same way.
I called her the treat monster last night and she just didn't react. She's like, you want a cookie? No.
All right, so I need you guys' opinion.
No.
1, 2, or 3. Okay?
Three's always better.
Okay. And so for the Mother's Day, we decided to do pictures, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I got a couple frames, so you let me know which frame
Uh-oh.
that you like. The first frame is
No, I don't like that.
it's a double frame. Now, what you can do with this frame
He's got science on this one.
is you can do like an Easter frame, Easter picture, and a Mother's Day picture. Okay, just an option.
Okay.
The
Bless you.
not that one. What about the color, the frame, the color? That one, or this color?
Can I hold it?
Which color?
If we can get the white one, but not a double.
No, I can't get this. That's what I look for.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna vote for.
I know, I look for it. And these are very inexpensive, obviously.
That one feels cheaper than this. That's why I was doing that. This one feels the most highest quality one. Like it has a little bit of weight to it.
Mhm.
If I was gonna pick one of the three, I'd pick this one, but that's just me.
I would pick this one too.
That's just
the
me.
color.
Sort of old school, but
Yes?
Is
So,
this like the Mother's Day pictures I can give them to the mom?
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
right.
I think we should.
What color? They don't have white in a full thing unless we cut this thing out.
No.
Where did you get the frames?
Home Emporium. They're very inexpensive. Unless we want to spend a lot more money.
Well, what's a lot?
Actually, these are inexpensive. I got 5 for $10.
Yeah, but what's the increment? What's a lot?
Oh, everything is higher. You know, you can spend $10 per frame, and how many ladies we have. If you want to spend $10 per frame, but
My only thought with it is that the frame that we get, you'd want it to be something that wouldn't seem like it would be super clashy with anything else that they would have in their house, you know what I mean?
yeah, well, like a black, or
That's what
the
I'm
white
saying,
or the
like a white
black.
or a black, maybe seem like it would go a little bit better with general stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
I did
you got
have,
something
I
in
did
there,
have a
huh?
black. I'm sorry. So
Yeah,
So something more of a neutral color that feels like it would kind of, what do you think, Inge? I'm just thinking the gold feels like it might be a little, they have like all the other frames in their house are like a brown or a different color, they might say, hey, thanks, and then when they get home, take the picture out of that frame and put it in a frame that matches all the other frames in their house.
they may. So this black.
Yeah, when I'm thinking of matching some in the house, I actually kind of like the wood one on the end there.
The wood?
Yeah, they just
What-
said that's
what?
the cheapest feeling one. That's why they.
That's
going
just my
with that one.
opinion. one man's opinion,
Which one do you think your wife will pick?
not that. She'd probably pick the black one.
You gotta pick the black one.
I know for our house, black is what would go best with everything else
Yeah.
hanging in our house.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you.
Yeah. Okay, well, so like black, got it.
So you did say you can get a single black one? Because that's double.
On Amazon, they have a pack of 6 black frames.
How much?
Yeah, but you can feel them.
Yeah, you can
16
feel it.
bucks. per pack.
How much?
They're like,
16 bucks for 56.
Oh, well, that's a good price.
yeah, but to Angie's point, yeah, you get one and take a look at it and make sure it's gonna be the quality you want,
I
but,
would think you could also get mats.
well, you
That would
can.
just be a 5x7
Mm-hmm.
and just buy the frame and then buy the 5x7 mats and just
Can.
swap it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it might not come as a unit like that, but I think we could probably do that. They'd probably have like a maybe.
So what are you
Buy them in
doing?
bulk,
You taking
pack it.
pictures of the kids and then printing them off and stuffing them in it, before,
Right.
and then they hand it out to their parent that Sunday?
It's not
No.
for the kids.
No,
No.
no, we're gonna take a picture and then give it, and put it in and give it to them like the next week, we can have. 2
Okay.
weeks.
But it's a
So,
picture of them, like the photo booth we're doing. So it's
Okay.
like on Mother's Day, all the mom and their family can get up there and
Okay.
get a family photo.
uh-huh.
And then we'll print that family photo and put it in a frame for them.
Okay.
And the next Sunday, give it to them framed.
So,
Spoiler alert.
so what if the moms miss Mother's Day? Cause they're spending like Mother's Day
Are you
with
trying
their
to
mom
miss
or
Mother's Day?
something.
Well, they should have been at
And
church.
then
Seriously.
they're there
You think you're gonna miss
or
Mother's
not
Day?
Mother's Day, the day that the pictures are taken.
Which will be Mother's Day.
It's
Which
just-
is
Which
Mother's
is
Day.
Mother's Day.
You're taking the pictures on Mother's Day?
Yeah.
And then printing them right there?
No.
No, we're gonna
No.
give them the week
Oh, the
after.
following, okay.
Right.
Yeah, so on Mother's Day, everybody's all dressed up and celebrating their moms, and hopefully the families are here, and then they take their photo.
Right.
And then that week after Mother's Day, we print it, frame it, and then the
Okay.
following
You will be
Sunday,
here on Mother's Day.
we hand out.
But what we also can do on Easter, if they take a family picture on Easter and they don't show up on Mother's Day, we can use the Easter picture
Okay,
for this.
Yeah,
as
we'll
well.
use the same backdrop,
Yeah,
essentially.
okay, cool. I was just thinking people getting left out or whatever,
I
you know,
know.
it's always a thing.
Well, we
Okay.
can go on Facebook and
I
get some
mean, if you
pictures
get,
there.
you get 2 tries and then it is what it
Seriously,
is,
it's
right?
just like,
Right.
we're done.
Yeah, so there's a backup photo option, okay.
right. Okay, so did you want to try to order additional things on Amazon or just go with the black or what?
I mean, the only reason Amazon might make sense is
Okay.
the single mat. You can
Mhm.
get the mats made separately,
Mm-hmm.
but just to get the cheapest, volume. But, by the same token, whatever you can find is probably gonna be pretty good. You don't wanna complicate it. But the black seems like the right thing. The black seems the best. Okay, cool. What else we got? Anything? We can just go to work.
I think we just need to, one, continue to think about the gifting test and doing all that. I'll add what you've got right there to the spreadsheet. Maybe next week we can kind of go through and start to assign some stuff. But 2, just continuing to give updates as we get them on the 3 separate teams for the 3
Yeah.
initiatives, the grounds, the kids, and the Sozo Sanctuary look and feel. Nothing new to report on the look and feel. We haven't, actually, we still need to do our follow-up meeting from where we left off
Okay.
last time of putting together the training materials. I think once Easter is passed, then we'll be able to focus more on that again. But I think that within our team, outside of that meeting of talking about the training materials, I think all the members of that team have kind of begin to focus on the other 2
Yep.
initiatives to try to help where we can. So
Yep.
I know the next kids meeting is on the 27th, so what is it, next
Is it?
Saturday, I think? Yeah, so next Saturday. After this meeting, we're gonna meet, so we should have additional stuff to talk about the Saturday after that as a follow-up.
Okay.
Beyond that, the grounds team and any kind of quotes or anything, any kind of new stuff going on there. It looks like we painted the light poles and all that.
Yeah, it looks
really
good.
It looks great.
It looks great.
Looks outstanding, actually.
Yeah, it does.
So, don't know if there's any updates or anything.
He looks tired.
No, I just,
I'm kidding.
got a new quote from the parking lot, we want to start on May 1st. So that's, just the same,
That's like 2 weeks.
Yeah. So it's just try to get, we just looked at all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Got quotes for a couple of trees down, those 2 maples.
Oh, against the building in the back, because of the critters.
So, it's rolling.
Now, what are you gonna do about the birds?
Shotgun.
Can we just like have
It's a shotgun.
we could just have a free fire day?
Yeah, everybody just stare off the
Bring your
parking lot.
weapon.
Pull.
Make sure you fire up into the air first.
Yeah.
No, we're still.
You gotta put smoke bombs in the holes and smoke them out.
Getting it from them, we're still planning on getting an outside patch and all that kind of stuff. And get some
Yeah.
paint on it, but hopefully by fall. But I haven't got anything back from them yet. So that'll be the biggest part. Plus, if the trees aren't there, the birds aren't nesting there, so we're not going into it as easy.
No, birds fly.
So, yeah.
True. They
Um,
do fly.
I think we need to figure out what the steps are on the electric as far as how we go about getting quotes and who we talk to. Because I really, personally, I don't really know what the first step is, so somebody else who's more educated in that
electric?
area.
Yeah, but there's, we probably need a separate meeting on that because there's some longer term things and there's some shorter term things. And what we're coming to the conclusion is, let's do the longer term because it'll fix the shorter term. But then the longer term is like, 10, 15 grand probably by the time it's all said and done. But from a safety standpoint, it's probably better to do it that way. So yeah, we should probably have a meeting, maybe the three of us just sit down and talk through, okay, so here's what it looks like the phases are. And then I can start talking to Carol about, the money to do that. Yeah, the biggest thing we're gonna spend now is gonna be for the parking lot, so I'm good with that. There's no other really significant expenditures, and the only other construction-related one is probably gonna be in the kids' area, right? In terms of starting to move that thing along, because I think that's a big deal. And maybe we set the goal of, by the end of the summer, we're ready for kids, at a different level. So that gives us 3 or 4 months to plan and construct and get everything geared up to roll in September timeframe. So, but yeah, let's do a separate meeting on the electric, and maybe, I think, Dustin probably wants to be involved in that too.
Well, he asked me for Chad Creech's number,
Yeah,
and I think he met with them.
yeah, it's cool.
So
Yeah, so
I'm not
there's,
sure.
yeah, there's a couple of phases. There's some stuff we want to do that is bigger than just the sanctuary.
Yeah.
And that's a lot more electrical panels and things like that. So I want to make sure we have that in view when we do it. And if it's 20 grand, it's 20 grand. We just knock it out. Cool. What else?
The only other thing that I had was if we could just do a quick recap on last night.
Yeah.
Positives, negatives, things people like, things people think maybe we should try to do a little bit different next year. So, thoughts?
Let's go around the table.
I was just gonna say it was awesome. Me and the kids talked in the car and said, we hope they do that every year, because that was awesome.
It was great.
We really enjoyed it.
Fantastic. We had a lot of good feedback from people. I sent Logan some information about, I forget what you call it. It's a service that some religions do. I mean, Christian, but I mean, like, I don't know if it's Catholic or, I'm not really sure, but when they do a Good Friday service, they have a few candles lit or something, and then they take like the last, I don't know how many, the last 5 things that Jesus says before he dies, and they like blow out a candle at each, like somebody will come up and say it, and then they'll blow the candle so that they get to the last one. And I don't know if it is finished as the last one or if it's I give my spirit. I think that's the last one. But then they close with everything goes dark, like the last candle goes out and everything goes dark. And then, I mean, it's kind of a solemn way to end, but
Yeah.
just something to think about, maybe incorporating or something, just because I just think the impact would be really
I mean,
great. But
there is something to be said for connecting the tradition, some tradition to it. And I think we did, I'm not saying we
No,
didn't, but
yeah.
you're getting at this thing of the people that you draw at least almost instantly as people who know of a Good Friday service, right?
Mhm.
They're used to that, and that's a Catholic kind of feel.
Yeah, I don't think
So
it's
there's
Catholic.
probably little pieces of it you could weave in there to just have them gripped 100% and then bring in everybody else.
Well, I
You
just
kept it
think,
very simple, which I thought was good.
I don't even think that it matters what people are used to. I just think that something like that might have a really big impact. I mean, it's not a have to, it's just something to think about
Sure.
for next time. But one of the things the one thing that I want to say is that I think that they did a fantastic job of having songs that included the generations,
Yes.
so that everyone I think felt included, and that was huge.
I
for
think you're
people.
right. And they do it I've seen you
Yeah.
do that consistently, and we have to pat you on the back for that.
The list of songs was like, I don't know, I thought they were perfect for
Mhm.
They were.
what we
Yeah,
were
right.
doing.
Yeah, me
Absolutely
too.
were.
Yeah.
But I think there was a
Absolutely.
conscious
Yeah.
effort to make sure that there was a mix.
Yeah.
And I think everyone
Yeah.
across the board. I mean, we say we want to be generational, and I think last night really did that.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, even Asen liked it.
Well, true. Yeah, Asen to my mother-in-law. So, I mean, you got the two extremes.
Generations.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, so you captured it all.
No, it's very well
you know? So it was good.
The two things that I was wondering about was one, the length. It was an hour long, but it felt like
Yeah, it didn't
felt like
feel
it
that
went.
long. Right.
It felt like it was over in
It
20
felt like it
minutes.
went
It did.
so
It
quick.
was so
It did.
fast.
So I don't know if
But some
next
people
year-
like that, to get it in and get it done.
I think it was
Yeah,
the right.
no,
I think it was
that's where
just the
most
right
people are.
amount of time.
you think so.
Yeah,
do.
Good
Because I mean,
Friday.
the first.
I could have been there for
The
another
first
hour,
two
but not
people
everybody's
that I
like
talked
that.
to, as soon as I stepped off stage, immediately was like,
So
one said, well, I thought maybe if we stood here long enough, they'd do another song.
Yeah.
And then the other person, well, that was Jennifer Brown, and then the other person, Jeff Coas, he was like, I don't think anybody wants to leave. I feel like it's over. And so I don't know if he was meaning that because of the way it ended, or if it was just that they wanted more kind of a thing. So, I mean, it might be something that if collectively it felt like an hour was about right, then great. But I just didn't know if that would be.
No,
one
I
thing.
think an hour is good because people stayed around their fellowship,
Yeah.
and
They did.
then they had time to go home. Wasn't like so late.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know.
There was,
Friday
there was
night,
the
and-
snacks afterwards. And
Right,
stuff,
it was.
That kind of thing else,
Right.
yeah.
It was good that Mr. Rates showed up.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
know.
I've
It was
been
awesome.
keeping in touch with him, and I sent him the flyer,
Yeah,
and so he knew all the dates and stuff like that.
awesome.
So
The other piece, and I mentioned this to these guys before we even started, was I had a little bit of a concern with the speaking pieces of it breaking the flow of the worship, because it was like, okay, we do 3 songs and then now somebody talks. 3 songs and now somebody talks. 3 songs, versus it felt like my concern was that, after about the 3rd song, people are starting to really move with it and really starting to feel something, and then to be like, okay, now bring the lights down because now somebody's got to say something.
Yeah.
Did that flow feel okay, or would next year maybe you'd want to do more of the actual just worship
the
stuff?
first time it was like you said, but after that, for me, I just got used to it. I know that's coming, so then I accepted it. It was okay.
Yeah.
And what you spoke of led up
Right.
to the next
Yeah.
group of songs
Right.
that they did,
No,
so
no, that was
it
good.
seemed
Yeah,
like
I
it
would-
went together.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anything, I wouldn't, the other place you can play with it is don't go up. It could have just been, as the music gets quiet, someone starts to speak.
Right.
And just gives that message, and then the music comes back up. I think it was more the transition than anything else.
Yeah.
Because that felt like it was, okay, they're gonna stop and you're gonna start, and then you're gonna stop and they're gonna start. So I think smoothing that would actually make it.
And that was kind of my concern, was that it felt like it was a little, it didn't flow. I mean, I think after it was all said and done, I felt like the flow went better than what I kind of was thinking it was going to do in my mind. But I did feel like the taking the lights down on the band and then bringing the lights up on the tongue and that kind of feels like it would have been more of a flow to maybe do like what you did. Just kind of maybe you can just bring the lights down a little bit and then you just hear audibly something and then flow right back into the music and kind of
Because you needed to lead people
Don't mix
with
up
it.
what you're trying to do here. You're talking about Palm Sunday, so you kind of had to have that speaker there.
You do.
Mhm.
But if
It was
it's
Good
actual
Friday.
worship night.
Good Friday.
Yeah, Good Friday.
That too.
But
That's it.
if
It's all that
it's
Easter
actual
stuff.
worship night, you don't have to go up front. You want music to continue, you want to have some quiet time so they could do their soaking in between. So you gotta remember what your focus was, is what you're trying to do. I think it worked out just fine.
Yeah.
And the only other thing I'd add is give them direction as to what you want them to do, at least a couple of points. So there might have been a good place to say, stand with us as we sing this song. You know, just give them a little bit more direction about what they should be doing, because I think that's where people are like, well, am I singing with you, or should I be reflecting now? And I think it relates to what you were saying. But those are tweaks. That's okay. So we get toward perfection, another 2%. I thought it was just excellent. It was just put together well. It flowed well. It was the right heart. The other thing I wouldn't want to forget is, for a Good Friday service, people are coming hungry. For a normal Sunday service, it's the routine, and I can, be into it or not into it. I think what you found is people were into that. And so it's like, I'm coming for this. That's why I'm here. So yeah, give me that. And which is probably why they would also want more, is because they came for a Good Friday service. That's exactly why they came. So those are all good things.
Nick, why were you going in Landon?
Oh, because he can be the one that's speaking in between the songs.
It's
So
like,
it's hard-
I'd
it's
rather
hard to
not.
talk.
No, I was gonna say, I can tell it's hard for you to do that.
Yeah.
Not in a negative way, but some people can just sort of flow out of that.
Mhm.
And if you're not that guy, stay focused on what you do best, and just stay in that groove and let somebody else do that. So I think it was a good counterbalance having you come up and speak into it, and then withdraw and let him take it from there.
Yeah.
So
How
The
did you guys
live
feel?
stream
Oh, sorry.
was like peaking super bad. I don't know if it was the same.
Well, that's what Mike and I were just talking about. I gotta actually watch the recorded video to see if it was the live stream or if it was the actual audio. And it was only doing it primarily on your mic for some reason. So, don't know. We'd have to kind of dig into it and find out exactly, because I noticed that you guys were also
Yeah.
having some bad feedback right before everything started,
Yeah,
with something going on in that area too. So I didn't hear anything live during the service in the room. It didn't sound like
No.
there was any kind of distortion.
no.
But
It sounded like it was just basically the same sort of thing as the camera, because there wasn't any sort of peaking on any of the speakers or anything like that. Feedback wouldn't have been related. That was with the drum mic. But yeah, no, it's the decibels on a lower voice.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I don't think
When I start getting
we
loud.
got to dig more into that, because it's not. I don't think that it's necessarily the live stream. I have a feeling when I watch the actual recording, we're going to hear the exact same thing, which means it's still something between the board and the camera, and some setup that we need to do to try to figure out how to fix that. I was talking to Mike, maybe at this point we need to get either Jackson, whenever he's in town, or what was the guy's name?
Nate.
Nate, see if he's got another time that he can maybe come in and just show us kind of what we're missing, because maybe there's another piece of equipment or something we need to do, or another little tweak we can make on the board to be able to stop that, so we can get clean audio
They had like
music
25
recordings.
people
too.
watching the live stream.
I know.
that's what I heard.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's
Which-
great.
What?
With that too, I was thinking we can probably start to actually live stream our Sunday morning services as well. I would just capture the signal coming off the splitter the switcher from upstairs, which would basically be exactly what everybody sees on the screen. Would just be the exact live feed.
Gotcha.
So I might try that tomorrow. Go ahead
Sure.
and start to try to live stream the Easter service, which would include the praise and worship. So we're probably still going to get those peaks and stuff during that part. But all of the talking parts sounded completely clean. So I think like when you actually start to do the stuff and the video stuff, all of that sounded completely clean. It was just certain levels in the songs that would start to peak out and start to sound really distorted. But if we live stream it, we can do that, and then I can later go back and take the actual edited version and then replace it. So at least people get to watch it live if they want
If
to,
they want to.
and then we can always put a cleaner version up later in the week. But
Okay.
so I think we're going to try to start to do that on a fairly
Cool.
regular basis.
No, I mean, and to just validate, there are people that are telling me, hey, I watched it on YouTube, I'm watching it. The black couple that we haven't seen for a while, they're still, the husband has some health issues, and I forget their names. Don't ask me what their names are.
Black couple.
That had a daughter,
They have a young
a
daughter.
teenage daughter.
Oh,
Those guys,
yes,
they're
yes, yes,
very-
yes.
So they're still out there, and what's her name? Yeah, you would know
Cher
her.
is her name. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
I don't know. John, I think is his name. But no, they said we watch it on, on YouTube, and so we're keeping up with you. We just haven't been to church. So her comment was, look, it's not that we threw you away. It's just we haven't been at church because he's been so sick. So that was
Tell
encouraging.
John, my son watches it from, like, when he puts it up Sunday night or something.
Yeah.
Or email when he's sick. He watches it all the time.
Yeah.
I wonder if
So
John Rates is doing that too.
yeah, you'd have
Pretty
to ask him.
good. One other thing, unless I missed it, I don't think there was any sort of like offering or anything. And I'm not saying that we should add like a traditional offering, but maybe have something up at some point in the beginning or the end that, if
That
you're,
you could give.
yeah, like if it was a blessing to you or not, but just a mention of it, because we might get people who might want to give over and above, or we may end up with people that aren't regular attenders here.
Yeah.
who
That's a
might,
thought.
who might want to give too.
I personally would be more interested in knowing who they are.
Yeah.
And you get both if you do an offering, but the lower level is just tell us who you are. Just leave us, give us a text, our email address, a phone number. But yeah, I mean, you could do that.
Bless you.
I mean, it could just be our slide or whatever. Wouldn't have to be anything
Yeah.
big.
Here's a random thought, just gonna throw it out there since you mentioned that. I don't know, for some reason the offering part of the service always makes me feel awkward and uncomfortable for
No.
people.
That's what we
My
do.
parents' church has like a big box
Mhm.
thing. It's not like the little tiny thing on the wall that we have that nobody knows what that's for. It's big and it says what it's for, and they never collect offering. Anybody who gives in that box.
Is it in the sanctuary or in the hallway?
It's in the hallway.
We've talked about that, about changing that
Yeah.
piece, and I think we've done
Yeah,
that to a degree, no?
No,
Yeah,
we're
we
talking
talked
about having some
We do an
stations so we
offering
can do
portion
that.
every Sunday.
Right, but we've
Yeah.
talked about people not, like giving them other options,
Right.
and
Yeah.
one of the ideas was to have a box in the back of the sanctuary, so that when people leave or when they're up doing meet and greet or something,
Yeah.
that there's, an opportunity for them to, we would be collecting it in a traditional way, or
Right.
we would give people alternatives.
Yeah.
I guess.
Just a thought. I mean, it's like the first thing you see when you walk in. It's big. It's well labeled. You know what it's there for.
Uh-huh.
And that's pretty much all they do from what
Hmm.
was explained to me.
Could
Yeah, we
could
can
you
put it
take a
up.
picture?
I haven't been there. I went to a worship night
That's
one
pretty
time
cool.
there.
Maybe they
I'll
could.
take a picture
Yeah,
and send
okay.
it to you.
But yeah, I had brought something about that too, and Steve had kind of talked to me, sort of, there's a couple people where it's sort of like it's a religious experience.
Yeah.
To worship, yeah.
Walking up and actually laying it down
Yeah.
at the front. And so I see the utility in it too, and so
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to just kill it. But
Yeah,
yeah, no,
but-
I like the idea of that.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I'm not killing it. I'm thinking
no.
maybe you come and you don't come on Sunday, but you come for something else, or you come to the ballet and you're like, I'd like to give to this church,
Right.
and here's an
Yeah.
opportunity, I can just throw some money in this thing,
Mhm.
because nobody knows what this little bitty box on the side of the
No.
wall
Well,
is.
that point is very valid.
Yeah.
Because like if I wanted to give separate from that, I have no idea how to do it, and that
Right.
little box doesn't encourage me.
Yeah.
So I'm 100% there. I like the idea of transitioning to see how far people go. I remember last time I said people give on Tuesday on the app. So then it's like, well, no, it does make sense to free people
Yeah,
to either give at a station or give whenever the heck you want to.
yeah,
You know, so I think there is a transition. I think we move from where we are to somewhere different that frees people up. I like that idea.
yeah.
So whichever way we do it is fine. And yeah, Logan and I are talking about the stations and how you put them and where you put them, and
Yeah.
do you have iPads or do you just have a place for an envelope? So we're playing with those ideas.
Okay,
So that'd be helpful.
cool.
Good, and you know, be encouraged. People are giving. It's not like people aren't giving. So the offerings have been pretty good recently, and so
We just have a lot on
People
our
are with
list
us.
that we want to get accomplished this year, so,
yeah.
you know, I'm just saying, let's make those opportunities available, that we may not, you know, like Angie said, I think, yeah, you could get people walking in
Yep.
and just like, oh, you know, I'm blessed here for
Right.
whatever
Yeah,
reason.
that's fair.
So I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I agree. I
It
agree.
feels like we're definitely still in a building and repair stage. I feel like over the next year or two, once we kind of get through some of these really big things and we start to kind of move into more of a maintenance level, I think that it's gonna, you know, a lot of our offerings will start to, maybe the savings side will start to build up a little bit until our next big thing that we want to do will come around. So I think it's,
Yeah, I think that's
Well,
right.
that's where if you see, if you do something that's noticeable, like the parking lot, and people have been giving over and above, and they say, oh, look, they actually did. You know, it's
Did what they
something
said they were
that
gonna
can
do.
see.
The visual, definitely.
Yep.
It's not that that we haven't been doing things like things that people just don't see, that helps. They don't see that, and they keep giving and giving, and say, well, I keep giving money, and I don't see them doing anything. Sometimes people need that jolt of visual
Right.
to say, look, you know.
No, I mean that.
They don't notice that the lights are on and.
And then they get excited, and
Oh, sure.
want to give more.
And there's toilet
Plumbers
paper
working.
in this, in the dispenser.
No, and I think that's been the heart of the team. I
I think
mean,
it's
it's
encouraging
been,
for
let's
people.
make stuff as visual as possible.
Yeah.
So I think we're on track for that. It's just what we do next, right?
I want to say it again, everybody, need to get everybody on the same thinking level that when we do stuff, get pictures
Yeah,
beforehand,
absolutely.
before you
Yeah.
start to do the
Right.
work. Again, we get so focused on, we just gotta get this work done, and then we lose the opportunity to do, just what
Before
you're
and
saying,
after,
share that
yeah.
before and after.
Yeah.
So snap it, even if it's with your
Yeah.
phone, just snap a few pictures of
That's
whatever
actually
you're gonna
pretty
do before you even touch anything. Few photos.
Make
and
it look as
go ahead
bad
and
as
get it done.
possible.
Exactly.
It's a good
yeah.
point.
Make sure it's cloudy and just
Oh,
really
gee.
just up.
Just like the people.
I don't think you
before
gotta
and
do
after.
anything extra for that,
Yeah.
for a lot of things around
I
here.
Terry, you got the calendar out. We picked May 19th.
All right, so are we good?
Tara, can I
Think
just
so.
tell you that Glenn wasn't looking, he had his back turned from the food area over there, and he hears rapper sounds, and he says, Miss Tara?
And it was
And
It was
Jerry.
Jerry,
Oh!
you weren't even there.
He doesn't have eyes in the back of his head.
So that's
What's the
what,
Miss
that's
Tara
what Glenn,
thing?
that's what
Like
Glenn
my hair?
thinks when he hears rapper and
Right.
food stuff
Yeah,
being
right.
set up anywhere. He's like,
Yeah.
Must be
"Where's
Tara."
Where's Tara?
May 19th for what?
For a
That
family
was
meal.
funny.
Oh, okay,
And then July 7th for family meal.
okay. And then we have potentially the 18th is the dump day for Sims, so we still need to maybe zone in on what we're gonna do,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who's gonna?
if we're gonna do stuff that week,
So who's gonna?
or if we're gonna, you know, do something that day.
So you and Nancy gonna own that?
for that particular day, I think it was last Saturday, we had talked about trying to make that be kind of one of our big
Yeah.
cleanup days here at
Mhm.
the church.
Yeah.
I was even thinking, maybe we could talk to your uncle, see if he'd be willing to bring the trailer down. Rather than using our pickup to haul things,
Mhm.
if we were to bring the CTS trailer down, we could load a
Just
ton
fill
of
it up.
big stuff on that
And
and
make
take
one trip
one,
instead
maybe
of,
2 trips up there with just,
instead of the grapes around.
Great.
right? So we might be able to reach out and see if we can
Can
do
you
that.
drive that?
No, I was gonna see if he would be
Oh.
willing.
Oh, That's funny.
Okay, so we've got Gail's mom, prayer for her. We've got prayer for Nancy. She hasn't been feeling very well. So you guys keep the 2 of them. Those are the 2 that I know about.
Yeah, they were on Messenger.
Mhm.
Are you on Messenger?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. Just asking. That's actually become probably one of the more effective ways for people to communicate. Just my observation. I see more live conversations happening there than any place else. So people that aren't on it, make sure you at least.
Messenger, like Facebook Messenger?
Yeah, there are a couple of groups, whether it's the Embrace team or just the different teams are using that. So just so people's is aware.
So did we talk about, did you guys talk about tomorrow?
Yeah, we did.
And where is Logan?
Ask them.
He's telling me, I'm sure everybody will be there. I said, who do you think will be there?
Well,
Sleep.
got such a long drive.
You live with them.
I don't know
Would you once you leave them?
Probably in an alleyway somewhere.
Yeah, I get that.
Everybody wanted to go hang out afterward. I was like, dude, I'm tired.
Yeah, seriously.
He was saying he was exhausted.
That's what he said, yeah.
Yeah. But he was
So-
mad at me because I wouldn't come out with everybody.
Oh, well.
You were
some-
setting the example.
Well, no,
He's mad with both of
and
us.
then, and then
He's
some
an
of
old
them,
man, deep
some of
down.
them got mad